And good evening and welcome to the GEEK Show. Hey! Welcome everybody from all around the world. We have our resident hosts, myself and the amazingly sexy Andy. How are you, sir?
I'm very good, thank you. Are you all right? Had a good week?
Very good, very busy, but really, really good. I am having fun with my aliens, but we'll talk about that in a moment. Over to our new star guests, guys. First of all, top corner, it is only the amazing Groovy. How are you?
I'm good, thanks, mate. It's all good.
It's all good, and yay, awesome, brilliant. And then also, Groovy is a part of the Cult of V2A. He's one of the main guys. He's one of the Imperators. Awesome guy, a massive fan of board games and has been doing it for years and years and has vast knowledge. And then over to our other guest, who is Ram. Hello, Ram. How are you, sir?
Hi, everyone.
Ram is also a really good mate. He comes from the Judge Dredd Mafia, like most of us do. Been good mates for years and is a massive board game fanatic and has vast knowledge. So welcome, everybody, and hope you've all had a good week. Yep, all good so far?
Yeah, all good. Yeah.
Awesome. So tonight's show, we're going to be looking at post-apocalyptic board games. So that's going to be the choice for tonight. So first of all, Andy,
yes.
Post-apocalyptic board games. What was the first one you ever saw?
I think the first one I was aware of, technically not a board game, but the first post-apocalyptic game I was aware of was Chainsaw Warrior, which was an old Citadel RPG system. They did a very limited run of miniatures for. I think it was about 3 or 5 minutes or something. But yeah, that was the first thing I knew anything about it. Never heard of the term before. So yeah, that was the first thing I played.
Oh wow! So over to you, Groovy. So what got you into the post-apocalyptic stuff? And what was the first game you saw?
I think probably it was an RPG called Twilight 2000, which was absolutely awesome, and he's just about to make a reappearance. It was on Kickstarter about a year ago. It's pretty nearing completion now, and should be out again soon. So yeah, can't wait for that. Can't wait for it.
Oh my god, awesome! So over to you then, Ramsey. So what was the first post-apocalyptic game you came in contact with?
It was Dawn of the Dead. If you remember the old 1978 George Romero's classic, where they made haste and went to sit out the apocalypse in a shopping mall, and great film, and they brought out a game for it as well, and great fun to play. You could play it in solo mode if you didn't have any mates, but wonderful players. One of the SPI early chit games where you had little cards to represent the figures, the people and the zombies, and probably an akin to a very early zombie side. It was great fun and great for the imagination.
Oh my god. So for me, I was, as most of you know, I've been a Mad Max fan since about the age of 7 or so. Accidentally saw Mad Max 2, totally corrupted my life. I wanted to grow up to be Emil Mintu with the boomerang, a cross between Wes and the feral kid. Not sure what I was thinking there as a small child. At some point when I was at high school, I found Car Wars, and it was like, this is like Mad Max, but as a game, and it just blew my mind. What an amazing game! Have any of you guys ever played Car Wars?
Yep.
Oh, yeah. Many moons ago, but yeah.
I think I have my trusty copies here, actually.
Oh,
so we've got original Car Wars. Well, you see them on the back screen there. So we've also got Sunday Drivers, and they also did a thing called Truck Stop as well. I used to play Car Wars for hours and hours. Again, great little game. I think I've even got in my archive somewhere. They used to bring out even a little magazine called Auto Duel Quarterly, which I've still got a few of these kicking around, and they come with extra rules and tell you about the game. It was really big at the time. It was a very popular game. On the top left there at the back, you can see something called Hell on Wheels, which was a solo game as well. So you could play it with your friends or on your own. They also brought out a number of metal miniatures. Andy may know about them, but I think I've got a few kicking around upstairs in the attic.
Wow. So, Andy, can you explain what is Car Wars?
To be honest, I can't remember. I
It is a
got my
Wednesday,
copy in the
isn't it?
shop the other day. I was like, "Oh yeah, I'll get Car Wars out. And I'll have a look at it, and it'll bring back. It'll come flooding back to me." I was looking, going, "I don't remember any of this." So I think it was one of those games. I had a copy of it. Went, "Oh my god, this looks amazing," and then just sat and made my own shit up for it, and never actually looked at a rule book. So very little has changed, to be honest. I just I go, "That's a cool looking box. I want to play that. Who cares about the rule book?"
It goes quite extensively into actually building the cars themselves. I mean, you can build armored vehicles, and half the fun of the game is actually getting your vehicle, building it out, tooling it up, and then going on and then just heading out on the highways, they say, and having some adventures with it. You play it in a campaign mode, so you could carry on and keep playing with other people. You could make your car better and get better things for it. So it wasn't just you could play it standalone, but you could also play week after week with your friends and improve your driver and your car and everything else. The emphasis very much was building your car out and spending a lot of time on making that up.
I must admit, I did love the game. The only downside for me is all the pieces were small cardboard, little bits of cardboard with like a drawing of a car. And I always thought, God, I wish they were bigger. I wish they were actually like a proper model. You know us board gamer people where the figures and the models are a massive part. So when this bad boy came out, has any of you guys ever played Thunder Road, which is a complete rip-off of Mad Max 2?
Yeah, we play that in the store. Like any opportunity, that'll get cracked out in the store, and we'll play that. We love Thunder Road. Yeah, it's a blatant absolute blatant Mad Max rip-off. Really is, even down to the helicopters.
Yeah, so for people who've never seen this, you can probably pick this up from charity shops for a couple of quid. Yeah. It's by M&B Games. There's 2 bits of road. I think it's 2 bits. And all it is when you get to the one end, you take the other bit out and put it over there, and then you sort of, as if you keep driving down the road. Amazing game. The pieces, you've got a remarkable rip-off of Lord Humongous's little chariots. Look at that. How they were not sued, I have no idea. There's only a gyrocopter. It has nothing to do with Mad Max 2 at all. Just has a gyrocopter in here. And what a great game.
Yeah.
Absolutely awesome game. So, Groovy, have you ever played this?
I haven't, no, but I did play Car War. Dark Futures, which was Games Workshop's rip-off of it.
That was. Oh, here we go. Who's got the biggest box? Who's got the biggest box? So
I think between us we can muster up any game, I think.
so in the batting order, I think we had Car Wars first, Car Wars. Then I come back with that. But Andy, let us waft your box at us again.
There you go, a bit of Dark Future.
Can you explain what is Dark Future and what is in the box?
So it's got a lot of kind of its heritage from things like Car Wars and from Thunder Road, where you've got your cardboard track and stuff, and you've got little plastic cars. This was the original game they did for it. This is the original box for it. But they did a whole load of like add-ons and expansions for it, where you got new gangs and you got motorbikes, and there was motorbikes in the start box along with a few of the cars. But they did gangs and stuff for it as well. It's like separate blisters. You can get the police, and there was an all-girl gang and all sorts of mad stuff. But yeah, they had little cars. Let's crack one of those out. Weirdly enough, I opened this up the other day. I wasn't sure if I still had a copy of it, and found there's a load of my old Matchbox cars in there from 1980 something or other. So
wow. In fact, if you go on eBay, it's going for an absolute fortune now. It
goes for silly money. Yeah. It was a great little game. It was really good fun, little motorbikes and stuff.
Wow.
Yeah, 1,000,001 tokens, and there were little guys and spares and all sorts of stuff. But yeah, that was one of my earlier games that I had, was like Dark Future. It's like, yeah, that's brilliant.
I think Car Wars is feeling unloved now because this is the cars.
Hold on. Let's see about that. Yeah. Ooh.
So there's one of my cars. Let me just find another one somewhere. As I say, the colour's gone on that one, but These are the cars we played with in Car Wars, so not quite as fancy as the models you guys have just been pulling out, and it makes your eyes go after a while.
Well, definitely. And then after sort of Dark Futures, which is an awesome game, I am a massive fan, and I'm just going to waft it out here, guys. Gaslands. Have you guys played Gaslands?
Yeah, very good game.
So, Groovy, you've not played Gasland?
No, I've got it, but I've not played it.
Fair enough. So again, it is so amazing game, but it's all Matchbox car related. So they never released any of their own figures or anything like that, or their own cars. Just go down to Poundland, buy a ton of Matchbox cars, stick a load of spikes on it, rust them out, and play the game. Awesome. So that is Gasland's the first edition, and then they re-released the refueled, which is like a big thick hardback. Absolutely amazing game. I have millions of these little cars I've created. it's about the only thing I'm actually good at. So we will have to have a proper Gaslands special show and get some of the stuff out there, get some of the builders, and have a bit of a competition, see who can build the most badass Gasland thing. But for people wanting to get into that, who love, like, it's a bit like Car Wars, but without the cardboard. Build your own cars.
I think you sent me one of your cars. I think I've got it somewhere on a
I did.
shelf.
I'm fanatical. Yeah. They're everywhere in the house. They're everywhere in the house. So over to Groovy then. So Groovy, out of post-apocalyptic games, what's sort of your top 3 games? What would you recommend?
Right. Let's have a look. Waste Nights, which is an adventure game, recently out on Kickstarter. It's set in Australia.
Oh, wow.
It's Mad Max. It is Mad Max. But it's, so many different missions in it, all cooperative as well. Sorry, no, there are some competitive missions in it. So I'd put that at probably number 3.
For how many players?
1 to 4.
1 to 4, yeah.
Yeah. Number 2, I don't know, probably Daimyo, which is a competitive one, sort of worker placement. The world's fallen. It's set in sort of feudal Japan. They're trying to reform an empire, but there's various bits of tech and stuff like that in it. And then top game is got to be that bad boy, Hunters 2114, which is probably as close as you'll get to Terminator, when it's actually in the future.
Oh my god!
But it's using your. Basically, again, cooperative game, but you're fighting sort of mechanized creatures. But it's a brilliant game. It's a lot of going from place to place, discovering stuff. So there's as much sort of detective work and talking to people as fighting. But yeah, the figures in it are fantastic.
That is amazing. Is that available from shops or Kickstarter?
No, it was a Kickstarter. They've recently redone a Kickstarter for it because they brought out a load of new stuff, and it should be available on late pledge on GameFound rather than Kickstarter.
Oh, right. Awesome. So
cracking game.
So over to you, Andy, the pinnacle of knowledge. What are your top 3? What would you recommend? If somebody said, I love Mad Max, I love board games, what would you recommend, sir?
I don't know. I think I was, well, Groovy was talking, I was like, what was my number 3 be? And there's so many games out there that probably just off a position. But I'm going to go with Zombies Keep Out. It's Privateer Press, American company who do War Machine and Hordes. It's a bunch of these little goblins that build random machines, and they're constantly being besieged by zombies coming up the garden path. It's a bit like Plants vs Zombies. And basically it's a cooperative game. You can have multiple players, and you basically have to protect your building whilst you build these little things and tinker and kill the zombies before they get in. And it's a mad little game. If you get bitten by a zombie, like if one of your barricades fall, you then you can't swap items, and then you can't build items. You get bitten again. Get bitten a third time, you have to talk like a zombie. So you can just moan and groan and stuff. Really good fun. It's a silly little game. It's a tiny little game, but it is really, really good fun. So that would be my number 3. I'm sure there's lots of people out there that come in the shop that have played a lot of our games and gone, no, that's the wrong one. And I've probably forgotten something really obvious, but that's what I'm going with. Number 2, I think will probably be Thunder Road.
Yeah.
Now, I know a lot of customers are going to go, "Oh no, wait, number 1 easily," because it is one of the best games. But it's been just knocked off number 2 into number 2 by my number 1, technically a post-apocalyptic game. So it becomes a post-apocalyptic game at the end. So technically, it's a pre-post-apocalyptic game.
Okay.
And it's The Thing, Infection at Outpost 31.
Oh, right.
So it's based on the John Carpenter movie, The Thing. You play as all the different characters, and you basically have to do different missions, find the thing, find flamethrowers, find dynamite, stuff like that. And at the very end of the game, the last thing you have to do is, as a group of whoever survived the game, choose who gets on the helicopter and goes back to civilization. Well, obviously, you don't know who's infected, so the issue becomes, at the end of it, you can go, yeah, we've done all the missions, we've not taken any damage at all, we've done a great game, and then you send 3 infected people back to civilization and it ends the world. So technically, and we do that a lot, we send somebody who's infected.
You just do anyhow.
Yeah, you get really paranoid playing it because you go, I'm sure that's somebody's infected, and I don't know. But yeah, at the end of it, we always end up sending 9 times out of 10 we lose and send the infected person back and wipe out civilization. So technically post-apocalyptic. But yeah, it's a fantastic. If you can get a copy of it, it's quite expensive because it's only available in the States. Currently, there's a licensing issue with getting it released in the UK. But if you can get it, it pops up on eBay quite frequently for about 80 quid, which isn't too bad. Yeah. But it's worth every penny. It is probably one of the best games I've ever played.
Oh my God. Oh, I will definitely be checking that one out. So over to Ram. So what are your top 3, sir?
I'm probably going to be cheeky and pick top 5. The reason being is you've covered some of the games I was going to pick anyway. But so I'll go on my top 5. Devil's Run, Route 66, great little game. The reason I picked this is because it comes with some fantastic little miniatures. This one here you can see looks like the Mad Max car. And the thing about these miniatures, they're all in nice resin, and you can use them for other games as well. So a really good game set, similar principle, rolling road, and very enjoyable to play. And the rules are really simple. Just pick them up and have a play with them. The reason I picked a few games to go through is that I think Andy mentioned this is one of his first games, Chainsaw Warrior. So I know it's number 4. It's not the top 3, but it has to be mentioned. This came at Games Workshop in the time when they used to produce lots of games, not just the 40k stuff. They used to bring out loads and loads of really good games to play. This one is just literally a one-player game. You can only play it on your own, and you pick it up and you have a good game. Chainsaw Warrior, it's very sort of 2000 AD type character feel to it. Some great artwork in it as well. So that would be my number 4. As I rattle on through, obviously we talked about some of these games already, which was Dawn of the Dead. That would be my number 3, but we've kind of covered that. But I'm going to mention it anyway. Dawn of the Dead, number 3.
Is it still easy to try and get some of these off eBay? Are they still in circulation?
They are, but they can go for silly money. Chainsaw Warrior is not too bad. The price on it isn't too expensive because not too many people know about it. Games like Dawn of the Dead, SPI's got a very cult following. And, we joked about these tiny little chit counters that you use. They are very tiny. And I think I need my glasses these days to play SPI games. But they have a big following. Some of the sought-after SPI games can go for hundreds of pounds. I kid you not. And it's just a box with some cardboard in it. It's actually mad. But a game like Dawn of the Dead, you could pick up quite reasonably. A good price on that, so you wouldn't have to pay too much for Dawn of the Dead. But I like that one. But it touches out to my childhood, so it's one of the early games that I bought when I was very, very young. My second number 2 game, obviously, again, we touched on this, which would be Car Wars. We covered that, just how immersive and expansive that system was with Car Wars itself, all the add-ons you could get with Truck Stop, fantastic. And again, even supported by its own magazine. It was such a popular game. They brought out every quarter a magazine just to give you extra rules, information about the game. And I think what makes all games playable is just how immersive they can be. So if you pick something that hasn't got a story behind it, you have to build it. Other games, if you do it from a film or a book, it already has that wealth of background behind it, and then it makes it such a playable game. You can probably guess what my number one's going to be, but it has to be Zombicide for me. This was brought out as a Kickstarter way back in, I think it was 2012, I think it first came out. And as we were chatting about earlier, this is one of the first sort of board games, in my opinion, where it was you against the game. In other words, rather than two people sitting down at a war game and playing against each other, you would sit down with a bunch of friends, up to 6 people, and you all work together in a cooperative way against the zombies, against the game, to a common aim. And it's really good fun. I still like the original Zombicide, which I have a copy here. But you can see it on the back. It's just a fantastic game. Again, beautiful artwork. And all of the expansions and add-ons are just absolutely fantastic. One of my favorite ones for this one is, I don't know if you can see that really, that's actually Dakota, which I think is based on good old Pamela Anderson. Difficult to see. I should have got them out of the box. And they went on to make other games as well. So Zombicide was the original Zombie Fest, in effect. There was add-ons to that like Prison Outbreak. And then they moved the game into a different genre, into medieval times, and you had Black Plague, and you had characters here. You can see there again. They renamed all the characters, but in effect, we pretty much know that's Conan and Red Sonja. But I think they call them Grom and somebody else. Unfortunately, I can't focus in on that. Sorry about that. But so they took the world of Zombicide to medieval times, and that proved a great hit on the Kickstarter. More recently, I think in 2019, they had Invader, which took it into a aliens come 40k type genre in space. But in essence, it's still the same game. 2 to 6 players playing against zombie creatures. They did a standalone version, Night of the Living Dead, which I enjoyed, which is another one of the George A. Romero films, similar to my number 3 favorite, Dawn of the Dead. So Night of the Living Dead is a single compact game, which again is very based heavily on the film. Super game. And at the moment, I think the Kickstarter is still going. Andy might be able to nod his head and say yes or no. But they've done a cowboy one now, and it's zombies set in the Wild West.
It's finished. It's
just finished.
Yeah, last week.
So, but again, that looked good. I think I've just got too many boxes of zombies, so I didn't go for that one. But I have the last 3 anyway. But Zombicide would be my top one.
Wow. So, guys, if you're listening online, please post your comments of what is your favorite post-apocalyptic game. So, back over to Andy. So, Andy, on the alien side, back to the glorious day of the core. I finally, after 2 or 3 weeks, glued my aliens together, which was hard. And as Groovy you witnessed, trying to get the bloody tails to stay on was, oh man, those tails, they are an absolute nightmare. I've started to I've glued all the Marines, and that was a lot easier. So massive heads up to that. So on your painting, I saw that you did some painting.
Yes, I've done my Marines. I don't know what I've done with them. Oh, I've done my Marines, and I've taken them all upstairs because we played a game of it the other day. We actually used it for what it's designed for and played a game.
Shock horror. So maybe next week we'll get the Marines down and you can go through how to paint them, because you actually had to go at camo.
I found after spending ages kind of studying pictures online of all the different characters and how their camo looked, and then started painting it and went, you know what, 3 colors for one camo, 3 colors for the other camo, done. A very simple way of painting them that was it. I think I knocked the whole lot out in about an hour and a half, because it's camo. You just slap it on wherever you want and it can't be wrong. I painted mine. We've actually played a game of it now. We've done the first mission last week. I'll get them ready for next week.
So first of all,
hopefully get everything else painted as well.
Oh my god! So starting off with Andy. So Andy, what was your first opinion of the game, of your first game of it? Now you've actually got to play it.
The game itself, fantastic. Once you get going, it's a brilliant game. It's dead simple. The rule book I had a slight issue with. We kind of started trying to play it and kind of reading through the rules, and it's not laid out badly, but it's not very concise as to how things work. So the first third of the book tells you what everything is in the box. You go, brilliant. Okay, that's described what everything is. The second part then tells you about how to play the game, so turn sequence stuff. But there's no part in between that explains what does what. So you know what something is, and you know how to play the game, but you just don't know what anything actually does. So we had to go away and watch a YouTube tutorial, which then explained how to actually use the items in there and what happened in what order. And once you got that down, it was brilliant. I think it's on the table or on the tabletop. It's generally like the second thing you find. If you look for get a playthrough on YouTube, it's really good. They have a proper concise, this is how the turns work, this is what happens with the cards, this is what the deck does. Really good. But yeah, then we played it and we understood it pretty much straight out the box, and it was really, really good fun. Can't wait to play more of it.
Oh my God. So over to you, Groovy, though. So I know you're a massive fan, you've played this a lot. What was your first reactions to the game?
Intense.
Oh wow!
It starts off, you think, like there's very few aliens on there. You start thinking, I don't get it. This is going to be so easy, and then just suddenly it just goes mental. They're coming out of the walls, man. They're everywhere. They are everywhere. And then you've got things like got that the Queen.
Wow!
And she's something else.
So you've gone for a special paint on that. Can you explain how you've painted and what and the look you've gone for?
It's airbrushed. It's chameleonic paint. So I don't know if the light's not brilliant for it, but it's
wow.
Yeah, it's worked out all right. It very nearly broke me because it broke 2 airbrushes. And yeah, green stuff world is the paint I used, which is the not cobalt blue, it's the Darth blue, which is it's a dark blue and a sort of copper colour. So they do them, and Vallejo do some as well. And you can airbrush them or brush paint them.
Brush paint them.
It works. It works over a black undercoat. Nothing else.
Wow, I've seen that. One of the paint companies do the ultimate goth black. Have you seen that one? It's like about 60 pounds. Is that?
Oh, there we go.
That's not that exact one, but it's very similar. This is the black 3.0.
Yeah, how crazy is that?
Yeah,
is it good?
It's interesting. I don't know if I say good as such. Yeah, you have to be very selective of how you use it because it's very odd as it's finished, very matte finish. But I've used it on a couple of things, and it does absorb a lot of light, but not quite as much as you expect it to. It looks a lot better on a camera than it does in real life.
In real life, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I saw it on, I think on eBay or whatever, and I was like, I've got to go for this because my painting's bad, but if my characters are completely black and don't reflect any light at all, how cool is this? So, but they're not that great then. So, is it?
There are multiple ones on the market. That might just be one of the ones that isn't 100%. But yeah, it's like I said, it's worth getting. If you want to have a go with it, get some and have a go with it. It's not massively expensive, but yeah, it's good fun to play with, and I've put it inside like cannons and stuff, so it gives you a bit more depth. Right. But yeah, it's interesting stuff.
Wow. So Ram, have you played Aliens, sir?
Yeah. The thing I'd say about the Aliens game that's just been brought out is go back and watch the original movie. It's a long time since I'd actually got that DVD out and watched the film again. Watch the movie.
What?
And then...
a DVD? What is this mythical device?
Apparently, you get them online now.
There they are.
but I got this DVD thing. Of course, again, I bought one, but watch the film anyway. And it puts you back in the genre of Aliens. And then the next day, play the game, and I will guarantee every point through the film you'll be shouting cliches at the game which you hear in the film, because let's face it, the game is just full of cliches. I mean, it's just one of these films like the Arnold Schwarzenegger ones or whatever, where it's just cliche after cliche after cliche. The only interesting mechanic I found about the game is the stacking of the chits. So when you turn a blip open, so people who haven't played the game, there's blips on the board, and as you move the blips around, once you can actually see a blip from one of your characters, you turn the blip over, and there might be 1, there might be 5 aliens on that blip. Originally, I wasn't so sure about sort of stacking them and sort of having the fact that, you've got a number of blips and the one alien creature on top. But once you understand the mechanics of then how you actually go into combat with them, and an alien takes its move first, and you do all the actions with that one alien, then another one moves. The whole thing starts to make sense. I think I'm probably going back to my favorite Zombicide game. On Zombicide, you just literally want loads of models just covering the board. I thought they might do this with the Aliens game, and at first I was a bit disappointed because I just wanted the board to be swamped with lots of alien figures. But the mechanic works well. So stick with it and you'll understand how the mechanic works. And then once you get the feel for the game, you'll see why they've done it, because it makes the gameplay a lot better.
All right. While we're there, big massive thank you to Tony, who printed this 3D bad boy APC, which is I've now then got to try and paint. So God help me with that. Andy, I'll be coming over and talking to you. But that is they're out on the net. But also, I think Gelforce are going to bring this out as a thing, aren't they, Andy?
They are, yeah. From what we've heard on early reports, it's not quite as good as some of the STL files out there. So we'll see. We'll see what we get.
Right. What are the other expansions, by the way? So there's the main game.
Well, we're done with mine.
Everybody's looking for their games now.
I'm done with mine.
Don't read the title of the follow-on expansion.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah, somebody's got one. Go on.
So, Groovy, what have you got, sir?
We've got the base game, and we've got Get Away From Her, You Biatch.
You biatch.
And there's also the Ultimate Badasses, which is the Marines, which unfortunately at the moment is full of half-painted aliens in my case. But yeah, that gets you a few more characters and stuff, and enables you to play as the aliens as well.
Oh, wow.
And of course, the best thing about Get Away From Her, You Biatch, the APC is not as good as yours, that's for sure.
Yeah. Oh, wow, yeah.
So a little bit flatter.
A little bit flatter, yeah. Obviously been run over by something.
And as well as the Queen, of course, you get Power Loader.
Oh, wow.
Have you made the Power Loader yet?
Oh, God, no. Oh, no, I'm still trying to glue bloody tails on aliens at the moment. I'm having nightmares about that.
Is
the Power Loader easier? Please tell me it's easier to make.
Bits of it are. Yeah. Have you made yours yet, Andy?
I haven't yet. No, it's next. I was saving that until I'd done everything else. Otherwise, I'd do that, nothing else.
There's a bit on the back there that's an absolute pain.
Oh, no.
An absolute pain. That bit there.
Worse than the tails.
It's up there. It's definitely up there.
But what an absolutely amazing game. So, for example, Andy, in the shop this week, what is the hot thing going on this week? Let me just play the jingle, the weekly news. So starting off with Andy in the bottom corner. Sir, what is hot and really cool this week in Worcester War Games?
I won't start with what's hot this week because we didn't have a show last week. So I've got the thing from last week that I was really excited about. I mentioned it the week before, which was the individual Aliens box sets.
Oh, so
wow. What they've essentially done is just released all the miniatures that were in the boxes, but without the game. So if you go, I don't really like board games, or I just want to paint the models, you can do that now. So you've got the Heroes of Hadley's Hope, which is all of the Marines, along with Newt and Burke and Ripley. How much is that? I was trying to read the price. That one is £20.
Wow, that's good.
£20 for that. We worked out when we were going through the prices of how much each one was. They've taken about 20% off the box price and then divided it evenly between the different things that you can get from it. So you can buy more Alien Warriors.
Oh, even though they were a pain to make, I want more.
Yeah,
I don't know why I want more, but I just want more.
Yeah, as soon as I saw it, I was like, who doesn't want more aliens? You might not use them in the game, but I want a table full of aliens, goddammit.
Exactly.
You've got the Power Loader with your half bishop and your whole bishop.
Wow.
Bits from Get Away From You Bitch. So you got all that in there. The Sulaco Survivors. You've got the Alien Queen. So if one Alien Queen isn't enough, you can have two Alien Queens running around your board. That's playing the game on super hard mode, I assume. The thing that we were most excited about, though, from all this little set of releases, was the thing that we only had a very limited run of the first time round, which is now on general release, which is the Assets and Hazards.
Yay!
So
Have you saved me one, sir?
This one here is yours.
Yay!
It's yours. Yeah. So yeah, if you want like 3D crates and the computer terminals and face huggers and eggs and stuff, that's all in there. And yeah, it's a really nice bit. I've seen a lot of people doing 3D printing as well over the last week, coming up on the different Facebook pages of like tables with newborn aliens on it and face huggers being dissected and stuff like that, which look really cool. So yeah, have a look around on the different like Thingiverse and stuff like that, and there's a lot of cool things on there for doing different bits for the game. Somebody's even making wall sections and stuff for it.
Oh my god! So are these all available from the shop? And
they are all available. Yeah, yes, I'm pretty sure they're on the website now. If you do go on the website and they're not there, it's because we're having issues with the website, but they are available. We do have them in stock, so yes. Hopefully you can find them on the website.
Awesome. So what else this week? So that was the first bit.
That was last week's. So this week's the big release for this week, Games Workshop, Piety and Pain. Big box set. Sisters of Battle versus Drukhari, or Dark Eldar as we know them if we're old enough. It's one of their big kind of, not starter boxes as such, but it's one of their big battle boxes. Set in the 40k universe, you've got kind of religious nun warriors versus sadistic S&M Eldar or elves. And yeah, it's a really big box set. I think it's £105 is the RRP on it, but you get about 180 quid's worth of stuff in there.
Oh my god!
So if you collect either of those two armies, you can essentially buy the box, sell the half of the army you don't want, and you get the box for next to nothing at that point. It's a really good saving. It's one of those boxes where you get loads and loads of stuff in there, and it costs a lot less than it should do.
Is it a complete game? So if you're a starter, could you buy that and you have all the components?
Not exactly. You need to get, I think you need to get some dice, and you need like a tape measure and stuff. But you've got enough in there, and you've got the basic rule set as well in there. So you could actually play a game theoretically. If you've got a tape measure and some dice, you could play the game no problem at all. There might be a couple of dice now. I haven't actually had a chance to look through the box yet. But yeah, you could pretty much use it as a start box if you wanted to.
Oh my god! So just before we go over to Groove, so for me, the ultimate call this week. Only V2A top trumps. Hey! These are actually really, really cool, and they're going to come out with the graphic novel Doomsday One. There are 32 characters out of that from the first book. I'm actually loving it. I'm really, really loving it. So very, very excited. One quick question to all of you: while you're playing Aliens and you're playing cooperatively with your friends, can you sabotage them by accidentally knocking over, an alien egg, wait for a face hugger, and then walk out the door and shut the door behind you and leave one of your mates in there? Not that I would do that. It's not like me. Not like I've thought about this. I'm just saying hypothetically.
We've had a few grenade incidents.
Grenade incidents.
Yeah, and maybe welding doors up with somebody on the wrong side of it. That
I'm
kind of
loving
thing.
all of this.
Yeah. But not on purpose, obviously.
Anything with a blast.
Anything with a blast.
Flamethrower. You can have fun with the flamethrower.
Yeah.
Can you accidentally kill your compadres in this?
Yeah.
Oh, you can. Oh,
yeah.
Because I think that's always fun as well when you are playing a board game. If one of the people you are playing with is slightly not of sound mind, but you've got like thousands of aliens, but you just think, I'm just not sure.
The Burke of the party.
The Burke of the party. Yes, definitely. So over to Groove then, sir. What is hot this week?
Well, the one thing that is really hot this week, not particularly in a good way, is a certain cargo ship that's sort of decided to slew itself across the Suez Canal because there's going to be ships full of Kickstarters that can't get through at the moment.
How dare they? God damn it!
So yeah, that's pretty bad at the moment. But yeah, on a purely personal sort of idea. There.
Exactly.
I've probably got Kickstarters. Maybe not on that one, but on some of the ones that are queuing up behind it, definitely.
Oh my god, yeah,
I think I might be a Fantasy Flight ship. That's all new X-wing and new Scarlet Legion. I think that's all on that ship that's gone sideways.
Yeah. Oh my god, yeah. So over to you then, Ram. So what's hot this week for you then, sir? What are you excited about?
Well, hot for me, I've actually been doing a lot of online gaming. And by that, it's not sort of World of Warcraft. It's actually, who would have thought would actually be in a zombie pandemic for the past year where we are actually just living in our houses. So it's difficult to engage with people. So a couple of things I've been doing. Warhammer 40k. You can use Tabletop Simulator now to play yourself a game of 40k, and reaching out to friends and having a few games of 40k is a really good way just to keep playing the game until you can actually get back in those gaming centers and play face to face with your little toy soldiers. The other thing I've been doing as well is role playing, which I hadn't done for quite some time. So I've gone back to one of my first things I started with, which is Dungeons and Dragons. And the hot thing for me today, it's not new, but for me, I'm enjoying reading it's a bit too much reflection on that. The Sword Coast Adventurer's Guide, which takes you into a world of fantasy and adventure and so on. So the packages I'm using there are things like Discord, Roll20, D&D Beyond. I seem to have a lot of applications open, but it allows you to play a game of Dungeons and Dragons, or for that matter, any role-playing game you want, as though all your friends were sat around a table at home with you, which is the preferred way of playing. But what I'm sort of saying to people is you've got to be a bit creative at the moment because we can't play together. So as I say, my hot things and tips are look at something like Tabletop Simulator to play some of your favorite war games, or some of the other things I've mentioned like D&D Beyond or Roll20, which is more generic, where you can play Dungeons and Dragons or lots of other games as well, and have some fun with your mates until they decide to let us out.
Have you seen, I don't know if anybody else is a bit of an Oculus Quest VR fan. I am myself, but they're bringing out a tabletop like role-playing game. It looks like Hero Quest, called Demio. In VR, so you can play with your mates and you actually stand above it, you throw dice and you can see all your characters then go off and move and fight. So it looks actually really good. I thought, wow, that's very, very good. So Andy, a quick question to you, sir. Another thing that I've asked you to put to one side for me because I'm super excited. So first of all, anything to do with aliens, because it's just, you just have so explain a bit about White Dwarf and what was in that.
Yeah, so White Dwarf number 462. It's probably the most sought after White Dwarf in years, to be honest.
Ever.
Yeah, it's got a whole bunch of free Steam codes. So Ram, you'd probably be interested in this. 12 free games. The Steam codes are in the White Dwarf. You can download them then using your Steam account. And it's all the Warhammer games. So you've got things like Vermintide 2 on there. You've got Space Marine. You've got Talisman. There's all sorts of stuff on there. Really, really good. It's selling out just about everywhere really, really quickly. We've still got a few copies left in the store if anyone does want one. But yeah, get it quickly while you can, because it's going to be gone so quickly. I know most places sold out almost instantly.
Yeah, I think Andy, doesn't it come with an update for 40k as well? For
it does,
yeah,
essentially like a chapter approved kind of thing.
That's right.
Yes, yeah. It's essentially an updated chapter approved, so you get a free booklet in there that tells you all about if you want to try different styles of game for running, like you say, campaigns and stuff like that. So yeah, it's just a nice giveaway. It's like I say, one of the most sought after White Dwarfs in years. Whether you're into the online gaming and you want to use the Steam codes, or whether you're onto tabletop gaming and you just want to get the new rules updates.
Yeah, wow. So Groovy, are you going to grab the White Dwarf? Do you play any of the PC stuff?
No, I don't. I've not got a PC. So.
Oh well, and there you go.
No.
And there you go. But I think just because at the moment, because we're still not sure of how long we're going to be locked away for. That's why I've just got to get it anyhow, just to give me something to do, on that cold, wet Sunday. But at the moment, I'm really enjoying trying to paint stuff. So Andy is my mentor. He is my Jedi.
Don't
and
blame me.
I am the Padawan. So
I'm not responsible. Wait a minute. Hang on.
So I'm sort of
That's my
new.
fault.
I'm new to the whole painting thing.
So, Drone, have you got a box of shame yet? Then do you know what that is?
I'm ashamed of all of my. I'm still at that level. I'm still at the crap level.
So people who've been doing the hobby for a long time, we have a box of shame which gets bigger and bigger. In fact, I think I've got a few boxes of shame, and it's basically all the figures that you haven't managed to stick together or paint. And after a while, that box seems to get bigger, because you don't get to finish those projects, but you buy some nice new shiny ones, which you think would be much better to build and paint.
Yeah.
So you need to get a box now, and if you stencil on the side of it, box of shame, it'll prepare you, it'll future-proof you.
I think with mine, all of mine are sort of in that box of shame. I'm going to have a little platform of the good ones when I do make one, and I'll be like, I think my Blood Bowl stuff though, I've done some Nurgles and they've come out good.
They look good. They are good. Yeah.
Groovy, I love you for that. Friend forever. That's all I can say. So I do ask quite a lot of bizarre questions on painting because, as I said, I am new to all of this and I am loving the hobby. Superman does it. Tank, big shout out to Tank over in America, who's Lord Humongous. So you'll see him at all the Wasteland festivals. Massive guy. He loves his painting his figures as well. We're going to get him on one of the weeks. It is very relaxing, guys. So if anybody's out there watching, we do have our own Facebook group now called GEEK Show. I think we're 200 odd members already, and it's growing dramatically. So please join that. We're going to have loads of painting competitions. There's a link to us war games. There's going to be comms about what's on the next GEEK Show, etc., etc. So all super exciting. So back over to Ram. So Ram, what have you got anything planned to play this weekend, or is there any sort of board gaming festivals later in the year that you would recommend? That's probably a better question.
So yeah, festivals. It's a shame that such a lot of them have been cancelled in the past year. Two ones that I really look forward to. The first one being UK Games Expo, which I think you were correcting me that I think it's around about July time. They've been playing around with the dates. That's in Birmingham.
Yeah, July and August. Yeah,
that's it. Just look online, UK Games Expo. It's a 3-day show.
Is that?
It's at the NEC.
Centre of the country. That's good.
It's easy to get to. My advice, if you really want to indulge yourself, is book a hotel and just spend 3 days, enjoy the show, play gaming. Because even when the show's not running from 9 till 6 or 10 till 6, I think for the general public, there's games being played in the evening. So although the show might shut at 5 or 6 o'clock in the evening, games go on till midnight and beyond, depending on where you want to play them in the surrounding hotels and in the actual NEC itself. So it's a mecca for games. Just to give you a bit more about the actual UK Games Expo, it focuses on mainly board games. A lot of the games we've been talking about tonight, so it isn't your full-on wargaming, Waterloo, lots of tin soldiers. It's the general board games, and there's some great games that are showcased there. Go along. A lot of the stands have try before you buy type ideas, so you can go along, play the games. There's loads of people there to help you understand the game, so you can get somebody. So again, we were talking about Aliens earlier and how sometimes the rules, and this goes with a lot of games, how sometimes it's difficult to pick a game up and just get your head around the rule set immediately. Sit down with some of the people who sell and look after these games, play a sample game with them, and then you take the game away and you play with all your friends and your mates. So I'd certainly be going to that one if it's on this year. Being from a tradition of mainly wargaming, one of my other favorite shows is Salute. It's usually on in April time, but it's been moved. I think it's November, but again, go online. It's down at the Excel Centre in London. It's probably Europe's biggest one-day show. It's always on a Saturday, and it's just massive. If you like looking at well-painted models and games, they do have some board games there, but it is more focused on more, what I'd say, traditional wargaming, although it does have the board games there. So you've got I call them little toy soldiers fondly, but there's some great painting there, some great games to pick up, and some fantastic boards. I can't stress how much fantastically looking these boards are. The amount of effort that people put into the scenery these days, on top of the actual miniature painting is just phenomenal. So my 2 hot tips, if we actually get allowed out of the house later this year, is UK Games Expo, Birmingham NEC in July, and then also Salute London Excel Centre. It's on a Saturday, sometime beginning of November.
Wow. So over to you then, Groovy. Is there any festivals, board gaming festivals that you're excited about or think that may happen this year?
UK Expo, yeah. I mean, last year we were going to go for the Friday to just play games, to go up to all the stands and go, show us your game. We normally go to Dudley Zoo on the Saturday and then go back on the Sunday for the buying friends.
Sorry about the Dudley Zoo bit. Being somebody from the West Midlands, sorry about that.
No, it's good. We like it. We've done that for the last 2 or 3 years. It's brilliant. It's part of the weekend.
Yeah, definitely.
But no, and then as I say, go back on the Sunday for the buying frenzy, and come home with a load of games. Do
they do like the Sunday, 3:30, get a bit of a discount? Is that
a lot of them do? Yeah, a lot of them do. We've had some cracking bargains out of it, especially from the games companies that have come from overseas because they don't want to take it back.
Oh wow! Awesome.
So you can normally haggle and get some good deals. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Also, if there is any of the post-apocalyptic festivals on this year, hopefully, but we may be running. We have a go, maybe doing like a Gasland's little mini tournament in one of these because that would be a laugh. That'd be great fun.
Yeah, that would be cool. We're trying to get a couple together at the moment.
Yeah, we're super excited and hopefully we can. It's just who knows at the moment with COVID and
not a clue.
And the next wave and
Who knows?
So Andy, what are you? What festivals do you go to? Gaming festivals?
I tend not to be honest, just because I can't afford to. I would say Ram's right. NEC is the best. The Expo is probably one of the best in the world. Maybe second to Spiel over in Germany. If you can get over there, that's amazing. But the NEC one is absolutely superb. The only problem is, if you do go there, don't take your car, because you'll end up bartering your car keys away to try and get another board game because you've spent all your money within about 10 minutes of arriving, where you just gone nuts and I want everything. And you're £600 down, your credit card's maxed out, you're giving your car keys over, the house keys, the wife's in slavery now.
You're dressed as Princess Leia. I
don't get near anything at that point. I'm just being swarmed outside by nerds wanting to touch things. Those two are great festivals. Hopefully, again, fingers crossed, like everyone has to be for this kind of thing. Worcester Comic Con's on again this year. We're hoping.
We're hoping. Excellent.
So anyone who's local that hasn't been there, check that out. That's worth a look.
Yeah, definitely. Also, we would love to have a go at running some Gasland's tournaments or something at the Worcester War Game Shop.
Absolutely.
You have your own facilities and stuff like that, and that would
we're definitely some Gaslands. We'll make some special tables up for it and all sorts. We'll have some right fun.
We'll have to bring the buggies down, our full size buggies, and park them outside. that'll confuse the traffic wardens. Traffic wardens there.
Leave the Gatling guns on.
Yeah, well, it's quite funny. So I've got a few friends who are in the police, and they're always going, "Can I borrow the buggy? Can I have a go?"
So when you say in the police.
Well, they're the fun side of that. So, but awesome. I must admit, it's really, really, really amazing hobby. The ball games and the painting is really, really good. The collecting as well. I never thought I was going to be so addicted to the Aliens game. That has just blown me away. It's one of those things, especially being an Aliens fan. You see it, and even if you're not into the games. You've just got to get the figures, haven't you?
Yeah. The Aliens models, we've said this on the last show, that you put them together, you paint them, and you just go, oh my God, these are amazing. Because the detail's great on them, but it's having your own aliens. It's like, I've got a brood of aliens. Amazing. Yeah, I'll have another box of aliens, because it's aliens.
Exactly. Well, a question to Groovy then. So as you showed us earlier on, you had another box with aliens in. Have you got more than the base set of aliens? More than the sort of 16?
No. It's just the
just those
that came in the base game. Yeah.
Because I must admit,
it just seems a lot.
Yeah, I have this urge to get more, even though they were a right bugger to make.
Yeah.
I just want more.
Yeah.
So Ram, what is your your top game at the moment? Your most played game? Is it Aliens because it's the new big thing?
Oh,
Or
that's a difficult one to answer. It's been, as I say, it's been a funny year. So bizarrely, I was getting back into my Warhammer 40k. I used to be a tournament player quite some time ago, and then dropped it for about 6 years, and went on to other things like games like Bolt Action and the Fantasy Flight Star Wars type games. But I got back into 40k about a year ago, and so I'm digging out all my old armies. I want to get back into Blood Bowl, so I need to find some people to play that, because I'll be looking at you guys with jealousy.
We are massive Blood Bowl fans. So that was the first game I ever sort of really got properly. Yeah. I've got the base box down there, which isn't painted. Hence, I've been playing it for years, but never painted it. But Andy's got me into everything. Now I am. Blood Bowl is the way. I'm more of a Dungeon Bowl person myself because of my crazy tactics. But
so some of the games I've been playing at the moment are not the games I normally play. So I've been playing things like Arkham Horror, the card game, because there's solo modes on those things, you know.
Yeah.
Or more simple type games. But I want to get back to my 40k once we get down the gaming center, put lots of toy soldiers on the table, and roll lots and lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of dice, which is always good fun. But Blood Bowl is completely different, where 40k is so precise and worked out. Blood Bowl is just daft. I mean, you know, you run with the ball, you fumble or do something stupid, you've got it all planned out, and it all just goes crashing down on your first move. So that's what makes Blood Bowl just an hilarious game. And if you haven't tried it, you've got to try it. It's just so funny. It's one of the few games I've played in some tournaments a while back where you'd get people very animated, shall we say, in a good way and sometimes in a bad way. The good way was really funny, but in a bad way as well. It's one of those games that really stimulates emotion, and you can have some fun times. As I say, I can't wait to get back and playing people face to face. So at the moment, my gaming is not what I normally do. And I think the reason that Aliens is such a hit at the moment is it's a sort of game you can play you know, at home on your own or with some friends who aren't particularly gamers. You know, drag the other half in, drag the kids in, and they'll play a game like the Aliens with you, which is why I think it's such a big hit. But let's see when we can get let out and start playing face to face. Fantastic venues at Worcester, by the sounds of it.
It is. It's an absolutely amazing place. So Mr. Groovy, so what is your game of choice at the moment? If somebody said Friday night, got some beers, let's get a game out.
It's going to be Aliens. I mean, we've played it over Zoom quite a lot. It's good over Zoom. It takes a long time. You know, you're looking at 4 hours to play a game. But if it's good friends and you're having a bit of a laugh at the same time, then it's all good.
Have you played all the stories?
The only one we haven't played so far is the final mission where you're trying to blow the Queen out of the airlock. Oops, spoilers.
No. Wow. Is there a lot of replay? Having the missions.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's it with the get away from there you be at. Obviously, it brings more tiles in, so the missions that are in the base game are suddenly twice as big.
Oh wow!
Because it uses all the tiles again, so it's called the same mission, but it's nothing like, you know, you've got far more blips and stuff like that happening. So yeah, you've got a lot more aliens going on.
Can you actually play as the aliens?
You can with in the Ultimate Badasses. It gives you rules and a deck of cards for somebody to play the aliens. Yeah.
Because that would be fun. That's my kind of thing. I like to try and put the kibosh on the Marines. So So Andy, a quick question to you, sir. Is that the big game at the moment? Is that the one, the hot seller?
Yeah, I think it's one of those ones that just keeps rolling on and on. Again, being stuck at home, it's a great game because you can play it on your own, or you can play it with family members that aren't necessarily into tabletop games and stuff like that, because it is a board game at heart. But yeah, it's the big new game. It's got everything about the franchise spot on. It's been made by lovers of aliens, for lovers of aliens. So it's hit every mark it needs to make it a really, really good game. So yeah, it's definitely going to be one of those ones. I don't know how much life it's going to have because obviously we've kind of got everything we can have now.
Yeah.
So I don't know what else they can do with it, but
well, there is an interesting fact on that because Disney now, because they own Aliens, they're making a TV show, Aliens TV show. So, so I think there's definitely legs in the old dog yet. If that makes any sense.
Maybe we'll get an Alien Resurrection game as well.
Oh dear.
Resurrection would that would lend itself to a game. Yeah.
I must admit, I loved Aliens. Alien. Aliens 2 is one of my all-time. After all the Mad Max films, is my next all-time favorite film because it's just amazing. And then I was so excited because I've actually got some HR Giga stuff, some signed stuff. One of my friends was actually she made. They're working with Alien War when that was in London. It's like, do you remember that thing? It was like I went
for a job interview. Yeah, I had a job interview down there to go and play one of the Colonial Marines.
Wow! So my friend actually built some of the stuff for that, and so because of that, we met HR Giga, and I got some stuff signed and got some stuff. So super excited, really, massive fan. And then Aliens 3 came out, and what a disappointment! Oh my god! Yeah, news. Oh, she's died. What? Really? Yeah, bitterly disappointed on that film.
But would you rather have that than Colonial Marines the game?
Oh, that was a stinker as well, wasn't it? Have you seen the new one called, was it Firestorm, Fire Party?
That looks really good. That
looks really good. Yeah. So it's all coming back. Okay, so guys, we're just coming near the end. So first of all, over to Groovy. Any tips or anything to look out for game-wise from you, sir?
Game-wise, no, keep an eye on Kickstarter, keep an eye on GameFound, which is a new crowdfunding platform. Keep an eye on them. As the safety elf, I'm just going to say, stay safe, wash your hands, keep your face covered, do everything you're supposed to do, and please survive.
Please survive, and don't let Now Terry near any explosives.
No, God, no.
There is a funny reason we have a super fan. Would you call Terry a super fan? A V2A super fan.
Put him there. Yeah.
Called Now Terry. We call him Now Terry because he is like a weapons, special effects, explosive kind of guy. Builds all this stuff, and we were playing this one gig. It was in what was it? Timequake, I think it was.
Yeah,
which was brilliant. And so Terry he built all this pyrotechnics, and he said at the end of the song, give me a nod and I'll press the button and get all the pyrotechnics to explode. So it was like at the end of the song, it's like diddle 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 diddle. I was like, no, Terry, no. So there's like about a 10-second delay. He then presses this button, the biggest bang in the world. I mean, the biggest bang in the world. A massive, everybody sort of was very nervous because they weren't ready for that. A big chunk of this explosive came down and hit the drummer on the head. It was just so he's now a thing. So you'll go to V2A gigs and people will just shout out, "Now Terry," and he's going to have his own patch and everything. This guy's turned into a worldwide legend. He's so brilliant. So over to Ram next. So any last notes or comments?
Top tips from me is what we touched on is use technology at the moment to play with your mates. Interested here using Zoom to play Aliens. I'd never thought of doing that. That was a good idea.
It does work.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of games you can play remotely. There are some software, as I mentioned, for D&D and other things that are sort of more bespoke and do help you play like that. But reach out to your friends, play remotely until we're all let out. But as I say, I can't wait to get back to some of the shows, some of the face-to-face gaming, because at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. It's about getting around a table with some of your mates, having some fun, having a beer, and enjoying your gaming, basically. But use technology at the moment just to keep you safe.
Definitely. Now over to Andy. Any wise words, things to look out for until next week's show? Something
that we didn't touch on tonight, which I thought we might have done, but never mind. The Snyder Cut. The Snyder Cut Justice League.
Wow.
I hated Justice League as much as everyone else did. And then this came out. It's like, oh, great, an extra 5 minutes worth of footage. No, 4 hours, 4 hours worth of stuff.
But wasn't it
worth of
good?
original footage, but oh my god, it's good. It's long, but it's
long.
good.
I must admit.
If you've got quarter of a day spare, go and watch that.
I must admit, because I am an uber Marvel fan and have been since a small child. Never liked DC. Never ever bought a DC comic in my life. You know, I'm one of these Marvel fanboys. I saw Justice League on the plane to America, the original one. It was all right. I didn't, you know, Stephen Wolf or whatever. Didn't have a clue who this bad guy was. Was a bit Mickey Mouse. Didn't really like. It was okay, not as good as Endgame and stuff. But then this Snyder cut. Holy hell, it's good. I'm impressed. I am impressed. I love Snyder's films, but oh my god, wow! So good, yeah, very good call. If you haven't seen it, guys, it's on Sky Movies for free. Very well worth watching. It goes on for 4 hours, but it goes so quick, and it's just amazing. It's backstory. It actually makes sense now because it tells you the story of all the characters and what the hell they're doing. Yeah, which was wow. Also, a big, massive thing. A big shout out to. I enjoyed WandaVision, but I was expecting somebody to turn up at the end, so I was like, yeah, oh. So I don't know if you've seen that. I won't spoil anything, but there was a certain person I was excited for, which didn't happen, and I was like, oh. But it was good. I really enjoyed it. And Winter Soldier, wow,
nice, yeah.
God, as Groovy said, the first 10 minutes is a bit poor.
Oh, it's desperate.
It was, yeah. All that things going on, and no, it's awesome.
It was just for me, you know. I mean, Falcon is, you know, he becomes Captain America in one of the timelines. He wouldn't kill that many people, you know, and there were people dying in that, you know, blowing helicopters and stuff. It wasn't like in the A-Team where they stagger out the wreckage. You know, there were a lot of deaths in that, and it just didn't sit right. But, but the rest of it I loved.
Oh yeah, and also I don't know where it's going. Well, Zemo, I love Captain. I love it. I was going to say Captain Zemo. I love Zemo, so that's going to be good. I'm a big Marvel fan. Can't wait. Loving Disney Plus. So Andy, over to you. Sorry about that. So Snyder Cut, yes, amazing. What else apart from White Dwarf? Get your copy now from Worcester War Games. Check out the website.
Lots of other new releases coming out this week as well. Come and check those out. They're not on the website yet, so come down Saturday for all the new releases. We've got some of the stuff that isn't available elsewhere anymore. So we say some Fangorn dice if you're still after some of those from Lord of the Rings. But support your local hobby shop because in 3 weeks, fingers crossed, we'll be open again and you can come down and game. So we'll only be there if you come down and spend some money.
Yes.
Give us your money.
Yeah. Give us your money.
Give us your money. Let's not be polite about this anymore. Give it.
Definitely. So thank you everybody for watching the show tonight and for all our awesome celebrity guests on tonight. It's been brilliant. We will be back next week, next Wednesday at 9 o'clock. Please share, like, and distribute this. Please join the Geek Show Facebook group. We are getting bigger. The army is mounting. It's been awesome fun. Thank you so much, everybody, and we will see you on next week's show. So, and let us a goodbye from everybody. Thank you, Ram. Thank you, Groovy. Thank you, Andy, and thank you, aliens. And we will be back next week.